to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Village of Manorhaven Board of Trustees, public hearing, December 17th, 2015. Trustee Avina.
Present.
Trustee DeLucia.
Here.
Trustee Gately.
Here.
Trustee Ben Roshlav.
Here.
And Mayor Junta is not with us this evening. Her son was in a car accident about an hour and a half ago, and she's with him getting checked out at the hospital.
You have a quorum.
We have a quorum.
This is a public hearing.
Here's a public hearing to consider the adoption of the 2016 Port Washington Fire Department contract.
Clerk, will you read the notice, please?
The public hearing was noticed in the Anton Press to consider the adoption of the 2016 Port Washington Fire Department contract.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen of the Board of Trustees, good evening. Tonight we're to consider the fire contract for 2016. I want to state that I've gone over the contract in detail, and the contract is very similar to last year. There's very few increases. They stayed just over 2%, which is very good. The fire contract consists of three separate things, one being the fire services, another item being the EMS, emergency services, and the LOSAP, which is the length of service pay that firemen get over time. They get a little bit each year. We've discussed some of the litigation in the board meetings regarding LOSAP, and there was a big anticipation that LOSAP was going up over time, but it wasn't the case this year. So let's go through some of the numbers so everybody understands them. Last year for fire services, we paid $304,334.77. The fire portion of that contract went to $317,688.41. That was an increase of about $10,000, or $9,949. But that was the biggest increase out of the three items. EMS had a 0% increase. Their numbers were exactly the same as last year, which is very impressive. LOSAP, that number, that longevity pay that we expected to go up, actually went down this year by 7%. Last year we paid $47,356.63. This year the LOSAP number went down to $43,951.91. So we actually had a decrease in that number, which is surprising. And given that we were able to settle LOSAP, settle the EEOC litigation, and with that overall anticipation that that number was going to go up over time, it was definitely a relief to see it go down. And of course, part of the settlement in LOSAP, the fire department kicked in a substantial amount of money, which we're grateful for, so that we didn't have to pay any of the arrears on the settlement. So that LOSAP really worked out, at least in the short term. So just the bottom line numbers is this, and I know people like the bottom line. We paid $401,778.01 for emergency services last year. This year we're paying a total of $411,727.13. That's a $9,949.12 increase, under $10,000, for a percentage increase of just over 2%. So I think it's you know, the fire department, I think they worked very hard to keep this budget in line with a 2% gap, and I highly recommend that this board pass this contract. Is there a representative from the fire department here?
Yeah.
Mike?
In the hallway.
Does any of the board members have questions of me before I turn the mic over to the fire department? Come on over.
Okay.
Chris is coming in.
We have until 7:30, so they'll be here for this part.
Oh,
Oh, okay, sorry.
Also, the joint sponsoring board starts under this agreement, so the board is going to have to consider appointing a member to the joint sponsoring board. I think we'll keep that for the, maybe we'll have some suggestions for the work session, but Manorhaven's going to have to be represented by somebody on that. Does anyone have any questions?
Mike, just so you understand, we posted at 7 o'clock to start the public hearing.
Oh, we got
So, okay, so we had to start because we posted that we would, so,
Okay. We
Yeah.
told 7:30, I apologize.
okay, no one worries.
Any questions from the board?
Seems good.
Should we ask public comment?
I
And then
think-
we can, I feel bad because the fire department's not here, so if they say something, you have a question.
Does anyone, I'll answer questions if you want, we do it generally, but you gotta state your name, we'll do it one at a time, then I'll stay right here. Does anyone have any questions of me regarding the contract? Having seen no hands, there's no public comment at this time with respect to
Can we accept it then?
No,
We
we
have
didn't,
to wait to get the
Fire department.
presentation.
I'm sorry, there's some kind of confusion on the time. But I do have a question, actually.
Sure.
This joint sponsorship, is it one of the trustees, the mayor only? Is it the other villages involved?
I don't think the Board of Trustees is precluded from doing that, but it might be an interesting proposition to bring someone from the community, maybe retired, someone who's familiar with budget items in the fire department and familiar with the
So not
players
necessarily, it
there.
doesn't have to be somebody from the board or from the village, it could be,
It does
it could
not.
be just a resident.
Right. And that was part of the settlement we had with the fire department. It was intended that the villages and the town would have more input with respect to how, I guess, LoSAP is planned out over time. And it's very impressive that LoSAP was able to drive these numbers down. I think the LoSAP number went down when everybody was expecting an increase.
Fabulous.
Well, there's coffee and donuts, we can take a 5-minute break. Trustee.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks,
Your Honor.
Maybe we can listen to a presentation first, and then we'll continue with the public hearing when he arrives.
Just briefly, for the record, Ms. Muppet, could I have a motion just to adjourn the public hearing until Mr. Baldwin arrives?
Jim?
So moved.
Second,
Clerk, please pull the board.
Priscilla? Trustee Avina?
Aye.
Trustee Lucia?
Aye.
Trustee Gately?
Aye.
Trustee Van Rushla? Thank you.
Okay, the public hearing is postponed until Mr. Baldwin arrives.
7:20.
We're like on hold.
Introduce yourself, you can go to the podium here.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sarah Dion Ryan from, I'm the Executive Director of the Manhasset Bay Protection Committee, and it's a position I've started.
Is the mic on?
Yeah, so.
Okay.
It's not, I don't think it's.
Yeah, wait, let me just see if this, hold
Just
on,
talk
hold
loud,
on.
like me.
Oh, power isn't on. There.
That'll go.
Okay. I'm Sarah Dion Ryan, Manhasset Bay Protection Committee Executive Director. I just started the position in March, so I'm trying to get out and introduce myself to everyone, to all the village, to all the villages and all the members. We right now are working on our intermunicipal agreement, so that's another reason I'm going out, trying to garner support for signing on again for another 5 years to support the work of the Protection Committee. The Protection Committee was formed in the 1990s in response to water quality concerns in the bay. And the first thing we did was, or they did, was we got a grant and did a water quality improvement plan to help direct what steps need to be taken to address issues in the bay. And there's been a lot of progress made environmentally, but we want to keep going, see the progress continue. And also in that time, since the 1990s, new regulations have come into effect, and the committee has been helpful, hopefully, to all of the members in fulfilling requirements of the stormwater regulations, particularly public outreach and education. And we also help fill out the reports that are due annually for the stormwater annual reports to DEC. Is there any questions? I just threw a blank on other things.
The IMA, has that been submitted to the villages and the town?
It has been circulated around. I've gotten lots of comments, great comments and feedback from all the villages and the town. And the representatives from all the member municipalities voted at one of our committee meetings to go forward with the IMA, and it went to the county, and it's kind of just sitting in the county attorney's office. I got one question back from the attorney's office about something they asked to be put in there 5 years ago. But I didn't
So the
remember
IMA
that.
hasn't been completed in terms of
No.
terms and conditions?
No, I'm hoping that once we hear back from Nassau County, they won't have too many additions or edits to it, and then we can just submit it as final, send it around, and have everyone sign it. I was hoping to get this all done by the end of the year, but no, I'm thinking March. fingers crossed if I hear back from the county.
Thank you.
Sarah, I just have a question for you. I don't recall seeing the IMA Manorhaven. Was it issued to us also? I mean, we are part of the Bay.
Yes.
Actually, we have a bigger percentage, I think, than Washington North.
Actually, I'm remembering now, I sent it out to everyone, all the villages, because I sent both an electronic and a written hard copy, I think in September. And actually, I meant it for everyone to edit, and I got back from you a signed off, ready to go certification, notarized from the mayor.
Okay.
And without any comments or edits, but I can certainly send back out the current version that we have.
Yeah, I'd like to take a look at the current version.
Yes.
I can advise the board on it.
And also, your members.
Mhm.
Is it a committee? Is it, you have board members? How is it formulated?
They call it a committee, it seems more like a board members. Each member, there's 13 villages, the town and the county has a representative that goes to the committee meetings and then reports back to the village or the town or county.
Right, because I was just looking at, I guess this is minutes from your November 19th meeting, and I don't see any representatives from Manorhaven, not that I don't know if any of us even knew there was a meeting. So I was wondering did you appoint a representative, or do we appoint a representative from Manorhaven? Because I think.
Who is our representative?
Representative from Manorhaven.
It's Priscilla. Trustee
Oh, okay, I
Romo.
didn't realize. Oh, okay. I didn't see your name on the list
I
here.
don't think she was there in November, she was there at the October meeting when we voted.
Oh, okay, no problem, I just didn't realize who was our representative, because I didn't see our name on here, I was just making sure the matter is
I'm
covered.
not officially, and I think that last year's environmental took over. What was her name?
A commission or?
Michelle
Michelle
Roper.
Michelle Roper was supposed to go to the November one. Did she go to the November one?
And
She was ill,
Oh, she was ill, okay. Because we're like taking turns.
okay.
Oh,
And the
okay.
one issue is our meetings seem to fall on the same nights as your meetings. So going forward, I was going to
That's the
look at
reason.
when all the villages have their meetings, and maybe pick a new time, new date to have our meetings on, to try to get as many members as possible.
Okay. Anybody from the board have a question?
I just wondered if someone saw a violation, how would we report it to you? Or if you see something, how would you report it to the trustees?
Well, most likely a violation would go to the town. You could call 311 and report it that way. I
They
usually,
usually don't handle it.
Okay.
if it's in the
Oh, it's in the
village, it would be
village.
different.
They call you.
okay, then that I'm not sure of.
Well, I would
Whatever.
just assume that you would call the village and then the village would report it.
And-
I would assume that's the normal route of that when we have
And they
complaints.
could help us, you could help with the violation.
Well, I'm not regulatory,
That's
so, but I could try and pinpoint who's the right person to talk to at DEC or with the village. I can raise the red flag.
I think, Sarah, just to clear up some confusion, what you had sent to me, that the mayor signed off on were past dues that were overdue from last year. I think you,
There was that
because
also.
of the transition, some of the municipalities didn't get their dues letter or their,
Mhm.
so I think that's what we sent. I don't think we signed an IMA without the board's approval. So if you could check on that for me, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions?
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Caroline Du Bois. I was formerly on the Long Island Sound Study
Oh, okay.
Citizens Advisory
Yes.
Committee. So I probably know all the people on your committee. Does your jurisdiction involve, and I presume it does, but I just want to check, dredge spoil? Does it involve regulation of the coastal wetlands? Anything to do with flooding on, hurricanes, things like that? Is that a kind of thing that we would send our concerns to you?
Well, you certainly can. I'm not regulatory, but we do comment on, we've commented on the recent Army Corps dredge spoils report, and we comment on regulations that come out from DEC but we can't take a stance on anything positive or negative without the full committee's approval. And that can sometimes be difficult because there are competing issues between different villages in the town and the county. But I do try to alert people of new things coming down the pike, new regulations or changes going on, and then we would comment.
Right. So just to follow up, Priscilla, if the Manorhaven Action Committee had a concern, let's say about the dredge spoil, we would talk to you, you would talk to her.
And she would talk to whomever you would direct.
In other words, it'd sort of be a circle there of concern, and so we have a point person to go to.
It would be Priscilla or Michelle.
Right.
Yes, the reason Michelle is really doing it more than I is, as Sarah said, our meetings run at the same time. They're on Thursdays, and I can't attend most of them. And the reason Sarah could come tonight was because it's one of the rare times when we're not meeting together.
Okay, but it's
So it's either me or Michelle.
right. No, but it's good to
But as a
know
board member,
who to reach out to when there are concerns about environmental coastal issues. Thank you.
And if there's any way I can help, particularly in public education and outreach, if you need an article for a newsletter about stormwater or something, let me know.
How often do you publish your newsletter?
We don't publish a newsletter right now, it's something I'm gonna look into in the future. But I know a lot of villages send out newsletters and updates through their alert system. And I can certainly help provide that.
Have you guys done an assessment of our village area? And if you have done an assessment, what did you guys point out or see, identify in order to help our village?
You mean an environmental assessment?
Yes.
That, I don't think so, since we've focused, Manhattan Bay Protection Committee focuses on the whole bay, so it would be looking at all the villages. And the last one that I know of that would have looked at something like that would be from the 90s, the Water Quality Improvement Plan.
Will there be an update, since we have a new administration and our trustee would really like that information?
There might be, it's not something I've floated to the committee, though there has been talk about doing a new water quality improvement plan. One of the steps before doing that is our water quality report is also outdated. The last one was in 2008. And so the next thing I'm going to propose to the committee is that we do that first, and then hopefully that could direct us towards what issues we have in moving forward with another plan.
Thank you, Sarah, so much.
Thank you.
Is Mr. Bowman here?
I haven't seen anything. No.
What we'll do is we'll start the meeting and
Should we do that?
no, I saw the fireman walk in.
No, they're waiting for Mr. Bowman. He's the one.
Mike's still here?
you have to hang out a little bit.
He was sitting out there.
Maybe he went outside?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Your turn.
We have to go back. We have to go back into the
Yeah.
public hearing.
Yep.
Can I have a motion to reopen the public hearing? Jim makes a
Oh,
motion,
boy.
Kevin second.
We got the whole
Call
crew.
for it,
Sarah?
please.
Trustee Avina? Trustee DeLucia?
Aye.
Trustee Gately?
Aye.
Trustee Van Rosselaar?
Aye.
We're back in session at
29.
7:29, thank you.
We had we discussed the contracts, the legal part of the contracts, and now we'd like to hear from the fire department.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Michael Tedeschi, and I'm the chairman of the Port Washington Fire Department. I don't need this. Tedeschi, Tedeschi. I apologize for the confusion in time. We were told it was 7:30, so far no tardiness. When I did come in, though, I did hear Mr. Toner speaking about our contract, and he had mentioned that we are just over a 2% increase in our contract from last year. Being taxpayers ourselves, we put the paper and pencil together again, and we actually are happy to report that we were able to cut our budget by $19,000 additionally, and we came in at a 1.98% increase, which to the Village of Manorhaven is a $7,975 increase from last year. which brings it to 409,000 and change. So at this time, I'd like to call Chief of Department Brian Waterston to tell you your call statistics for last year. This year, I'm sorry. And,
Good evening, everyone. So from
I'm sorry, your name?
Brian Waterson, Waterson. So from January 1st, 2015 to present, there were 422 total emergencies in the village of Manorhaven. 308 of them were aided cases, and 114 were fire calls.
now, do you guys have any questions for us? You have our budget guide, so could we answer anything for you?
It's just a minute.
Can you give the numbers one more time, just for me, Chief?
308 ambulance and 114 fire. So, Leslie, I'll just give you a second. Busy.
He was at every one of them.
Anybody on the board have any questions?
Good job. We really keep the expenses the way you did.
Yeah. Anybody from the public? Okay. I need a motion to close the public hearing. Trustee Avina made a motion.
I'll second.
Kevin second.
Trustee Avina?
Aye.
Trustee Lucia?
Aye.
Trustee Gately?
Aye.
Trustee Van Roshlaw?
Aye.
Aye. Did I say aye?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I was writing. I wanted to make sure I said aye. I want to make sure I got my vote in. Thank you to the fire department.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate all your hard work. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Before you go, we have a motion, we need a motion to approve the contract.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
put the
I'll make a
contract now.
motion, I'll make a motion to approve the contract as stated.
Second, please. Madam Clerk, please pull the board.
Trustee Avina?
Aye.
Trustee Lucia?
Aye.
Trustee Gately?
Aye.
Trustee Van Roshlaw?
Aye.
The contract's approved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.